Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yutabadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate viram yatkrpatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Om Tat Sat. Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan Ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So today we'll discuss on Canto 2, Chapter 4. Just to give a bit of recap, just give me a moment. The battery is low for my laptop. Yes. Just to give a bit of a recap from what we discussed in the previous 3 sessions on the second canto. Shukadev Goswami, he started describing about the yogic process initially, how advanced yogis they'll be able to meditate on the Supreme Lord in the form of Paramatma, whereas if you take somebody who's not so advanced, they can't. For them, meditation on the universal form of the Lord, which is more an imaginative form as an object of their meditation, Dharanashraya, is recommended. And we saw the description of the different limbs of that Virat Rupa, form of the Lord. And then we also discussed about Kramamukti. Kramamukti is the gradual liberation wherein the yogi goes to the one of the 4 higher planetary systems, and then eventually the yogi goes to Brahmaloka. And once the yogi reaches Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma is situated, they have the option of either perfecting their life and leaving the body for a higher destination, or they can remain along with Lord Brahma, and at the end of the life of Lord Brahma, they'll go to the spiritual world along with Lord Brahma. So both the options are given. And after describing these two processes of Hatha Yoga system, Shukadev Goswami then mentions about the path or the mode of worship of people who are less intelligent, which is who are demigod worshippers. That's what we discussed in the third chapter about what are the different demigods that are being worshipped by the different people. We saw a whole list of different demigods for good progeny, for example, Prajapati, for good fortune, Durga Devi, for having a large stock of grains, Aditi. If somebody wants to gain worldly kingdom, Vishwadeva, so on and so forth. For getting good wife, worship the Apsaras. For good bank balance, Varunadev, so on and so forth. And after mentioning about all this, Shukadeva Goswami then gives his conclusion that bhakti is the topmost, because bhakti directly puts one in contact with the Supreme Lord, whereas whatever benefits we get by worshipping the different demigods, they are short-lived, they are temporary. And then after Shukadev Goswami concludes his analysis about Hatha Yoga, Karma Kanda, as well as the process of bhakti, the Shaunakadi rishis, all the sages in the Naimisharanya headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they glorify about the process of hearing and chanting. We saw the different condemnation that he gives about those eyes that does not see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are just considered to be like a plume of a peacock. They look nice, but they actually doesn't do much. Those ears that doesn't hear about the glories of the Lord, they are just like the holes in which snakes live, like that. Very strong words that are given, and even the head, which doesn't bow down to the Supreme Lord, which doesn't bow down to the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees. It's not a head, it's just a burden on this body, just like how you carry a heavy lift, like that, this head is a burden for this body, like that. So after they sufficiently glorify this way, both positively as well as negatively condemning the people who don't take up to this process of bhakti, um, Shaunakadi rishis, they then submissively inquire from Sutta Goswami to please continue his narration. And Sutta Goswami continues, and that's what brings us to this fourth chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is titled The Process of Creation. So, Shukadeva Goswami, first he begins this chapter, or Sutta Goswami begins this chapter by mentioning about the mental status of Parikshit Maharaj. Normally, Prabhupada says sometimes people out of sentiment they may give something for Krishna, but then after giving to Krishna, because of their attachment, they still lament, "Oh, I was just being overly generous," like that. Parikshit Maharaj's case, he had everything. He had given up, and he has now come to the banks of river Yamuna, and he is inquiring from Shukadeva Goswami, and he has already heard few chapters from Shukadeva Goswami at this point. So now Sutta Goswami is saying, Parikshit Maharaj, what is his mentality at this point? He says, Parikshit Maharaj, he concentrated his mind on Krishna. Prabhupada always brings back the focus to Savai Mana Krishna Padaram. They are always remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. So after hearing from Shukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj concentrated his mind on the Supreme Lord, and he is preparing himself to hear more about the Supreme Lord from Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami's words, normally when somebody speak, there is a certain emotion which the words carry. For example, if you might have seen some motivational speakers, when they speak, it's the same word which is used in a normal colloquial sense, but when they use the words, they infuse a certain amount of emotion and energy to those words, and it's true for anyone speaking anything. We can make or break a person with our words, but the same words, when it is used to discern the truth, Atma Jnana or Atma Tattva, it can arouse spiritual ecstasy from within the hearts of a humble listener. Vasudeva Kata Prashna Purusham Strin Punatihi Vaktaram Prachakam Shrotrim Tatpada Shailam Yata. Vasudeva Kata Prashna. When somebody hears about Vasudeva Kata or Krishna Kata, Purusham Stri Punatihi, three types of people will benefit. Whenever and wherever the Krishna Kata or Vasudeva Kata is being glorified. Vaktaram Prachakam Shrotrim, one who is the speaker. Vaktaram Prachakam, one who asks question. Shrotrim, one who is neither asking or hearing but just listening. So if you take a Bhagavatam class, there is a Bhagavatam speaker. At the end of the class, he or she would ask any questions, so somebody would ask the questions. That's the second person. Third person is there'll be people who would be seated there who won't be asking questions. They may not, but they would still sit to benefit that conversation between the inquirer and the speaker. So Bhagavatam says, in this way, three types of people they inquire: the speaker, the inquirer, as well as the secondary audience, whoever just sits and hears that conversation between both. And this is compared to Mother Ganga. When she descends down, she purifies the upper planetary system, middle, and lower planetary system. Tatpada Shalilavayata. Just like how the water that washed the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, which is Mother Ganga, she is purifying the upper, middle, and the lower planetary system. Similarly, whenever and wherever there is Vasudev Katha or Krishna Katha, three types of people benefit. Parashit Maharaj, he has come there fully exercising his detachment, which he had developed right from his childhood. It's one thing you will come across many times when people are totally frustrated with the different attempts in this material world. They give up and then they take up to bhakti. That's one category of people. Once Prabhupada was going for a class in a public hall, and as Prabhupada stepped out of the car, there was a journalist who asked him, Swamiji, who is most qualified to, or who's qualified to go back to spiritual world? Prabhupada had literally 10 seconds to answer that question. Prabhupada was walking. And Prabhupada could assess how much the reporter can handle at that point. And Prabhupada so intelligently, he answered. His question is, who is qualified to go back to spiritual world? Prabhupada says, one who is most frustrated in material world. Just in a few words, Prabhupada discerned the most profound truth of the scriptures. And Prabhupada just kept walking. The reporter was satisfied. So normally, sometimes we may think, somebody tried this, tried that, nothing worked. All right, I'll become a sadhu. That's a general tendency, or even a general notion which people have. But Parikshit Maharaj, he exercised detachment not because he was a failure in material world, not because he couldn't figure out what to do with his life. He had everything. To glorify Parikshit Maharaj, Sutta Goswami says he even lists down the things which he gave up. Atmajaya Sutaghara Pashudravina Bandhushu Rajye cha Vikale Nityam Virudam Mamatam Jaho. He gave up Atma, he gave up his body, he didn't care. All the kingly dress, he gave up just wearing the bark. He came to the banks of Yamuna. Atma. Jaya gave up wife. Sutta, his sons. Sutaghara, house. Pashu, animals. So many animals he would have had: cows, horses, elephants. He gave up everything. Wealth, Pashu, Dravina, wealth. Bandhushu, friends. Rajye cha, he has given up kingdom as well. 8 things he mentions: body, wife, Sutta, sons, Agara, house, Pashu, animals, Dravina, wealth, Bandhushu, friends, Rajya, kingdom. He has given up everything. In other words, he gave up everything when he was the most successful person in the whole world. So at the peak of his success, he gave up everything and he just left. That is the depth of his detachment. That's how great Parishit Maharaj was. And he renounced everything. Why? He renounced everything, including dharma. It's given. Dharma means that as a Kshatriya, he has a certain dharma. That dharma also he has given up. He has just come as a simple student now. He's not a king anymore. He's not a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, nothing. He has given up everything. He has given up even his Kshatriya dharma. He has given his artha. He has given up his kama, everything. Now he has come for the Pancham Purushartha. He has come for prema, something which he has always been very curious to find. Is this Krishna? Is this Krishna? Right from childhood, he has been searching. That search has finally brought him in contact with the best speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Shukadeva Goswami. So after describing about the position of Parishit Maharaj, Sutta Goswami continues to narrate about Parishit Maharaj's questions. So the next 5-6 verses, Parishit Maharaj asks questions to Shukadeva Goswami. After hearing about the yoga system, about the demigod worship, karma kanda, and also about the process of bhakti. Now, Parishit Maharaj wants to hear about Krishna, but there is a certain etiquette he follows. Normally, when we go to the temple, we can't look at the face of the Supreme Lord. First, we have to look at his Lord's lotus feet, and then slowly we have to look at Lord's legs, thighs, waist, chest, arms, and then slowly, then we have to, with mode of respect, we have to look at his face. So Parashit Maharaj's mode here is he wanted to hear about Krishna Katha. Easy part is just to jump straight to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But Parashit Maharaj is following the etiquette. First, he wants to hear about the workings of Maya Shakti. Krishna is maintaining, creating Maya Dakshayana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. So Krishna is creating, maintaining this material world using his Maya Shakti. First, he wants to hear. He puts forth his questions that I want to hear about the workings of this material world, not because he's interested, but simply because he's following the etiquette. And this is also an energy of the Lord. Prabhupada says, first we need to hear about Kurukshetra Lila, then we can hear about Krishna Lila, Vrindavan Lila. Everything is spiritual and everything deals with the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything is equally potent as well. So here, Parishit Maharaj first asks a series of questions about the creation. That's how the chapter is titled, and we'll see. It goes slightly technical. I'll try to simplify as much as possible. So here he asks, oh, Shukadev Goswami, because you are the knower of everything, you are Sarvagya, knower of everything, and are sinless, Anaga. This word Anaga, you will come across many places. Aga means sins, Agasura, the big python demon. You can understand, he is a personification of all sins. That's why he's Agasura. Anaga means it's negated. Ana, it's negated, so it's Anaga means sinless. Your speech is perfectly right, because you are knower of everything, Sarvagya, because you are sinless, Anaga, and because your speech is always correct. As long as you speak from the scriptures, it carries the potency of Krishna's words as they are. So he says, because your speech is perfectly correct, Samichinam, you please dispel by ignorance, by speaking more about Krishna Katha. And what does he mean by Krishna Katha? That he says in the next verse. He says, how does the Lord create this universe through his energies? In other words, he is first asking questions about Maya Shakti. Later on, he'll speak about Chit Shakti, which is about Krishna Lila. That comes later. Parashit Maharaj initially thinks, let me first hear about the workings of Maya Shakti. Then I will inquire about the workings of Chit Shakti, which is the Yogamaya pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So he says, how does the Lord create this universe? How does he maintain and how does he destroy? How does the Lord enact primary creation through his Maya Shakti? How does he carry out secondary creation through the demigods? One of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, Atra Sarga Visargascha. Sarga means primary creation, which is done by Vishnu, Karanadakshay Vishnu, or Mahavishnu. So after he creates all the universes, Yasyeka Nishvashita Kalamata Valambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanada Vishnur Mahan Saihasya Kalavisesha Govindamati Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. When Mahavishnu breathes out, unlimited universes come from Loma Vilaja, from his bodily pores, from where usually we have hairs coming. He has like bubbles, unlimited universes come out. We can imagine, we can't even imagine actually the size of Mahavishnu. That's how big, huge in every sense he is. So he is Atra Sarga, he does the primary creation. So he does the creation, and then through his, so first he creates the universes like that. Then he impregnates all the living entities into that universe simply by his glance. That glance is Shambhu. That glance is Lord Shiva. That's how Shiva Tattva comes. And then he just agitates material nature simply by his glance. Shiva enters into there, and then you will see big things happen. Big Bang also happens inside every universe. So then, when Shambha Tattva, Shiva comes in, secondary creation starts inside. Brahma is created, then you will see from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and then Brahma starts to do the Visarga, which is the secondary creation. So Sarga is a primary creation. Here the question is about both. First he asks about how does the Lord create this universe through his energies, which is Maya Shakti. How does he maintain and how does he destroy? How does he do the primary creation as well as the secondary creation through the demigods? Starting from Lord Brahma. So Brahma is created. Brahma then in turn does the secondary creation. He then enters the process of progeny through to the different Prajapatis we come across. Daksha is one such Prajapati, and there are different sages also who are Prajapatis. So in this way, he asks, please tell me about the process of creation, how the world is created, as well, or how the universe is created, and how inside each universe the secondary creation came to be. The Lord's activities are wonderful and inconceivable. Durvibhavyam, inconceivable. Adoksaja, inconceivable. Even the wise cannot understand them in spite of their endeavors. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmana. Adbhuta Karmana means he is doing wonderful activities nobody can understand. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmana. Durvibhavyam Ivabhati. To understand this one is Durvibhavyam. Inconceivable. Nobody can understand. Krishna is inconceivable. Krishna Bhakti is inconceivable. Krishna's devotees are also, pure devotees are also inconceivable. We can't fully understand. Kavibis chapi chastitam. Even the most wise men can get bewildered by Harer Adbhuta Karmana, by the wonderful activities of Krishna. Please narrate to me about that. How does the Supreme Lord has one Purusha? Original Purusha is Supreme Lord. Govindam Adi Purusham. That's Krishna. But then in the material realm, the first Purusha is Karanadaksha Vishnu. So he's asking, how did Karanadaksha Vishnu single-handedly he supports the three gunas during primary creation? Then how through each one of the different devatas or demigods, he supports the gunas during secondary creation? So the same question about primary creation, secondary creation, he is elaborating with bit more detail. How did Mahavishnu or Karanadaksha Vishnu or Karnarnavashai Vishnu, same personality, different names, how he is doing the primary creation of the different universes, different modes, how he's supporting the different modes, how he's creating the different devatas, and how the devatas in turn are doing the secondary creation. He wants to know, can you please tell me whether all of them happen simultaneously or do they happen in a certain sequence? Many times we wonder, why is nobody, I have so many questions, why is nobody answering them? Or why am I not getting the answers? Maybe because we are not asking the questions properly. Or maybe we are not listening to the answers properly. Here we can see Parashit Maharaj, first he poses the question and then he elaborates the question. He knows exactly what he is after. And Shukadeva Goswami, after hearing his question, he knew exactly the information he is supposed to give. So next time, if you think you are not getting the answers, think over again if you are framing your question properly. So he already told Harer Adbhuta Karmana, Durvibhavyam. Understanding is very difficult. So now Shukadeva Goswami may think, you yourself say this is inconceivable and you are asking me to explain. How am I to know? You yourself said it's not easy to understand. As if answering that question of Shukadeva Goswami, Parishit Maharaj glorifies Shukadeva Goswami by saying in the next verse, Oh my master, you are expert in discerning scriptural truths. Why? Because you have realized Krishna, so nothing is inconceivable for you. By mercy of Krishna, you can speak on any topic. Therefore, please clear my doubts. So, in this way, he puts forth the question about the primary creation and secondary creation. And in answer to this, Shukadeva Goswami will start to speak on the process of creation. The coming sections can be slightly technical, but if we focus, it'll be easier to understand. This same section will be repeated one more time. The process of creation, exact same sequence, will be repeated one more time in the third canto. We'll see the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. The only difference would be this section discusses just the process of creation, whereas in third canto, same sequence of verses would come. And after describing about the process of creation, it will conclude with the prayers offered by the Devatas, beautiful prayers, offered by the different demigods to the Supreme Lord, especially those Devatas who are in charge for different senses. What's their mood? Very wonderful analogies, very beautiful, heartfelt prayers they offer. We can see in the third canto again. So, when we go through this process of creation, try to take as much as you can. And if something is unclear, wait, you will hear one more time. Most of them will get clear. Shukadeva Goswami, when he is asked this question, Shukadeva Goswami starts to offer prayers to the Supreme Lord. And by doing so, he is setting the etiquette. He is the greatest speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. But his mood is, I know everything. That's not his mood. His mood is, I'm a humble speaker. If Krishna empowers me, I'll be able to speak something to glorify him. If my father, who is my guru, if he empowers me, I'll be able to speak Srimad Bhagavatam nicely. His father is seated as one of the personalities in the audience. But Shukadeva Goswami doesn't forget to offer prayers to him as well. He doesn't forget to offer prayers even to his guru, which is Narada Muni. So this is a very beautiful section about like 14 prayers, 14, 15 prayers of Shukadeva Goswami before he starts to describe about the process of creation and rest of Srimad Bhagavatam for that matter. Shukadeva Goswami says, my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord. So every word or every verse in this series of prayers will finish with the Namaha. Namo Namaha or Namaha. My obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who accepts the three modes of creation, is the complete whole residing in all living entities and whose ways are inconceivable. Anu Palakshya Vartmane. He is glorifying the Supreme Lord who accepts the mode of all the creation and who is residing within the heart of everyone as Paramatma, who is residing in all the living entities and whose ways are inconceivable. To that Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances. Anupalakshya Vartmane. My obeisances unto the Supreme Lord who destroys the suffering of devotees. Krishna is extremely favorable for his devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, extremely favorable to their devotees. Normally, they give shelter to everyone, even to the demons. They give shelter. The Supreme Lord gives shelter. But to the devotees, they are especially very merciful. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priya. E bhajanti tumam bhaktya. Maite teshu chapyam. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I am equal to everyone. I am not partial to anyone. But whenever the word but comes, we have to understand what is going to follow the but is going to contradict the words before the but. But one who is surrendered to me, I give them full shelter. So Krishna, he is equal to everyone. In other words, he gives that opportunity to everyone. Even Ravana could have become a devotee. Krishna gives him that opportunity. Hiranyakashipu also could have become a devotee very easily. He gave Hiranyakashipu the association of the purest devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. So Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu means Lord is equal to everyone. He gives equal opportunity to everyone. But one who takes advantage of that opportunity and one who comes and takes Lord's shelter, he is more favorable to them, which is a very fair deal, because Krishna would have favored even Kamsa if only Kamsa had taken a shelter. Kalia knew this trick. That's why before Kalia Nartana, Kalia was very envious. After dancing on the head, after Kalia Nartana, Kalia was very submissive. That is the proof. Krishna is ready to give shelter to anyone. If somebody comes and takes shelter of Krishna, Krishna immediately gives them protection, full protection. Shakrudeva prapanya tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai datamyatat virtam mama. Lord Ram says this. This verse is recited by none other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, saying this is the promise of Lord Ram, like that. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If somebody comes in front of me even once and says, my Lord, from today I'm yours, it is my eternal vow to protect them and make them fearless for eternity. So the Lord is equal to everyone. So here he says he destroys the sufferings of the devotees. He liberates the non-devotees simply by killing. Shishupal, Tandavakara, Kamsa, any demon who Krishna killed, Putana, Trinavarta, Agasura, Bakasura, Mura, any demon, Aristasura, Krishna liberated them. So he mitigates or destroys. One of Krishna's name is Ripugna. Ripu means sinful reactions. So much distress which we cause to ourselves, and we don't even know what to do with our lives. The mess that we create in our lives. Ripugna, Krishna wipes out everything. Gna means thou, he who destroys everything. Ripugna, one who destroys all the sins. So he destroys the sufferings of the devotees. He liberates the non-devotees. He is the form of Shuddha Sattva or Vasudev Tattva. Vasudeva means it's a higher platform than even mode of goodness. So he is Shuddha Sattva, not just normal Sattva. Sattva, Raja, Tamas. Sattva is normal goodness. Shuddha Sattva is pure transcendental goodness. So he is above even. He is Gunatita. Gunatita means one who is beyond the gunas, three gunas. And he is the shelter of those with the mood of Paramahamsas. So we can see how Krishna is all good. He is good for devotees. He is good for even demons because he is liberating them by killing them. And even for Paramahamsas, he is the ultimate shelter. He associates with the Yadus. Shukadeva Goswami continues with the Namo Namaha for everything. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who, that's a common prelude to all of this, who associates with the Yadus, is a problem for non-devotees. He is the enjoyer of the both material and spiritual worlds, and who possesses unsurpassable and unequaled opulences. Unsurpassable. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashashashriya, Jnana, Vairagya Yoshcheva, Sannam Bhagaitingana. He possesses unlimited wealth, beauty, strength, wealth, fame, knowledge, renunciation, unlimited extent. So he possesses unsurpassable and unequaled. In third canto, we will come across this verse. Swayam tu asamya atisaya trayadisha swaraja lakshmi apta samasta kamaha balim haradbir chiralokapalir kirita koti uttita patapita. When Uddhava meets Maitreya, at that time he says, that Supreme Lord who is Trayadisha, Krishna is known as the Lord of Threes. Swayam tu asamya atisaya Trayadisha. He is a wonderful Lord of Threes. He is the Lord of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. He is the Lord of the three planetary systems, upper, middle and lower. He is having three gunavatars, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. He has three Purusha avatars, Karana Dakshaya Vishnu, Garbha Dakshaya Vishnu, Shivra Dakshaya Vishnu. So in this way, he is known as Lord of Threes. There are many threes that are given. Krishna has three types of flute, Vamsi, Venu, Murali. Like that, he is Trayadisha. He is the Lord of Threes. Swarajya Lakshmi, Samasta Kamaha. He is a very independent enjoyer of all opulences. Very effortlessly he'll enjoy. He doesn't have to work. Balim Harad Birchira Lokapalai. Understanding his supreme position, all the different Digbalas, the cardinal demigods also, who are guarding, who are taking care of this material world, they come and worship him. Kirita Koti Etita Pata Pita, when all the 330 million or 33 crore demigods come and bow down at his lotus feet, each of them, they have the Kirita. Kirita Koti means, Kirita means the helmet, diadem, Kiriti. One of Arjuna's name is Kiriti because his head is decorated with a celestial helmet which is given to him by his father, Lord Indra. So one of 10 names of Arjuna is Kiriti. Kirita Koti. When all these different 33 crore demigods, when they come to offer their respects to the lotus feet of Krishna, each one of them wearing the helmet, when they come and they bow down, all their helmets come and cling, hit each other and they make the noise. Kirita Koti Udita Pada Pita, that Supreme Lord whose lotus feet is bowed down to by 33 crore Kirita helmets. Such beautiful words of glorification. That's why Supreme Lord is known as Uttama Shloka. We can't glorify Krishna enough because he goes beyond, way beyond our imagination. Normally, when they release a movie, especially some hyped up movie, sometimes you will see the best part of the movie is the trailer of the movie because they just cut and patch the best scenes or the best songs, best piece of music in there, raising the expectation in the minds of the audience. And when the audience goes, when they go to see the movie in the big theater, spending hundreds of dollars, almost always they'll end up being disappointed. Why? Because the movie director or the maker of the movie, he or she had used a certain power of their imagination, power of their fiction, but it doesn't meet the expectation or the imagination of the audience. This happens especially when there is a part 2 or part 3 of a movie, or there's a sequel or a prequel of a movie. They watch one movie, and then when the second part of the movie or the prequel of the movie comes, they have a certain expectation. If this movie is like this, prequel is going to be like this, sequel is going to be like this. So, and there is millions of audience. Each one have their own sense of imagination. But the power of imagination of the maker can't satisfy the power of imagination of millions of audience. Not possible. So it always fails, not just almost always fails. But when we look at Krishna, Krishna will blow up our mind. His pastimes will blow up our mind because nobody can even imagine how Krishna can actually do all of that, effortlessly lifting the hill, killing someone, at the same time so beautiful, singing so nicely, playing musical instruments so nicely, extremely humble. How is this possible? How could Krishna kill millions of soldiers without even raising one weapon, without even him killing themselves directly? How is this possible? How just taking the very lowly job of driving a chariot, which is a Shudra job, he could give the most profound wisdom which humanity has ever seen in the form of Bhagavad Gita. It blows our mind. It beats our imagination. That's why Krishna Leela will always remain fresh. Whereas if you watch any movies or any novels, anything, if we repose our faith in them, we have to be prepared to get disappointed because nobody can match up our imagination. Nobody can outperform our expectation except Krishna. You can try this. You will never be disappointed in any Leela, anything to do with Krishna. You come to the temple thinking, okay, today there'll be some prasad. And then suddenly one devotee brings a plate of Mahaprasad. It will blow up your mind. My God, I didn't expect this. Does Krishna eat all of this? Like that, you come inside, some devotee gives a very, very inspiring class. Or you come inside the temple room, a very beautiful, melodious, meditative kirtan is going on. Or you go to take darshan, we know what will happen there. Krishna always Navanava Rasadamni Uddetamantumasit Taddavadi Batanari Sangame Smaryamani Bhavati Mukavikara Sustu Nisti Vanamcha. Yamunacharya says, Yeddavadi Mamacheta Krishna Padara Vinde Navanava Rasadamni Uddetamantumasit Taddavadi Batanari Sangame Smaryamane Bhavati Mukavikara Sustu Nisti Vanamcha. Ever since I have taken shelter of this Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, ever since my mind is transfixed at the soft lotus feet of that Supreme Lord, I am experiencing Navanava Rasadamni. I'm experiencing these waves and waves and waves of ecstatic emotions. And what does material enjoyment compare against those emotions? As ever since I've taken shelter of Krishna, I'm experiencing this transcendental ecstatic emotions. And at that time, if I actually think about the sexual pleasure which I can enjoy with the member of the opposite sex, at that time, my lips curl in distaste, and I spit at the thought. This is what Yamunacharya says. Taddavadi Batanari Sangame Smaryamane. At that time, when I think about having sexual pleasure with a beautiful woman, my lips curl in distaste and I spit at the thought. So this is the beauty of Krishna Katha. This is the power of Krishna Katha. Krishna will never let us down. Krishna will always outperform our imagination. And because of that, there is not a slightest chance of feeling bored or going through some hackneyed experience in Krishna consciousness. Impossible. So here he says, who associates with the Yadus. I worship that Supreme Lord who associates with the Yadus, who is a problem for non-devotees. One of Krishna's name is Asurari. Ari means one who kills. Asurari means one who kills the asuras. It's a problem for non-devotees. He is the enjoyer of material and spiritual worlds and who possesses unsurpassable and unequaled opulences. I worship the Supreme Lord, or my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who is all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse sinful effects. Beautiful prayer. Yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yad ikshanam, yad vandanam, yat shravanam, yad arhanam, lokasya sadyo vidinoti kalmasham, tasmai shubhadra shravase namo namaha. So he's giving so many different ways how, if we worship Krishna, we can be purified of all the sinful effects. Yat kirtanam, by singing, smaranam, remembering, ikshanam. Audience means going and taking darshan, being in the presence of the Lord by simply hearing words of his glorification. Ikshanam, yad vandanam, offering prayers, yad shravanam, hearing, yad arhanam, worshipping. If we do all of this, lokasya sadyo vidunoti kalmasham. Vidunoti kalmasham. It will immediately destroy all the impurities within the world. Tasmai Shubhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. To that supreme all auspicious. Shubhadra means auspicious. Shubhadra Marani, auspicious. Tasmai Shubhadra Shravase. To that all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna. Namo Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. Beautiful prayers. And then he says, my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who is all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna. Jnanis, by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments to the present and future existences and progress towards spiritual existence easily. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Krishna, who is all auspicious. People possessing great qualities, which is jnanis, karmis, yogis, scholars, etc., they cannot achieve any result without dedicating them to his service. In other words, even for karmis, jnanis, yogis to attain success in their own respective paths, there has to be at least a little tinge of bhakti. Without bhakti, even karma kandis can't enjoy, yogis can't enjoy, jnanis can't enjoy, karma yogis cannot enjoy. Tapasvino dana paraya shashvino manasvino mantra vidasu mangalaha shemam na vindanti vinaya darpanam tasmai shubhadra shravase namo namaha. All auspicious. Tasmai shubhadra shravase namo namaha. And he says, this is a beautiful prayer which Srila Prabhupada, once he was visiting some countries where people were even eating dogs. Prabhupada says, oh my God, it's very impossible to directly teach them Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, teach them holy name, do kirtanam, and distribute prasad. So Prabhupada says that once, the second time when he goes, there are already a room full of devotees in the same countries. Prabhupada became so happy when he arrived in India. Prabhupada quotes this verse. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abira shumba yavana kashadaya enyecha papaya dapashraya ashraya shuddyanti tasmai prabha vishnave namaha. So these are people who are lower than Shudras. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha avira shumba yavana kashadaya. 8 categories Prabhupada says, quoting this verse. Enyecha papa yadapashraya ashraya shuddyanti tasmai prabha vishnave namaha. It doesn't matter even if people belong to one of these 8 categories of people who are below Shudras, below Chandalas even. If they simply take to the path of Krishna consciousness, despite being born in any of these sinful races, they can be purified. That's how auspicious Krishna is. So Shukadeva Goswami says this, people of any sinful race, of one of these 8 categories, are addicted to sinful acts. can be purified by taking shelter of his devotees due to his being the supreme power. Shuddhyanti tasmai prabha Vishnave namaha. To that supreme Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances. So after glorifying the supreme Lord, he is now going to offer a very personal prayer. So the next 4 or 5 verses discusses about how he is humbly putting himself. In prayers, there are 10 categories. 3 are primary. Dainya Bodhika is one of them. Dainya means to be humble. Samprarthanatmika, Dainya Bodhika, Lalasamai. They are the 3 primary categories. Samprarthanatmika means you offer your feelings, heartfelt feelings. That's what we saw now. He is offering his heartfelt feelings to the Supreme Lord. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who is all auspicious, who destroys the sinful reactions of all his devotees, who is the problem to the non-devotees. Murari, Asurari, Kamsari. So we come across all those names. So this is Samprarthanatmika, wherein one offers prayers to the Supreme Lord with heartfelt feelings. There's another category of prayer, which is Dainya Bodhika. Dainya Bodhika is when one expresses one's inability to practice bhakti, to worship Krishna, and beg the Supreme Lord for his mercy. With that Dainyata, with that mood of humility. That's known as Dainya Bodhika. So here he says, may the Supreme Lord be pleased with me. But may the Supreme Lord, and then he elaborates in those prayers about who that Supreme Lord is. Verse 19, he says, may that Supreme Lord, who is the Super Soul and the Supreme Lord, Adishwara, of all self-realized souls, of the personification of the Vedas, Traimaya, of the religious scriptures, Dharmamaya, and all the austerities, Tapomaya. He is the Supreme Lord of all of this. He is the Supreme Lord of Traimaya. Again, another 3. Rigejur Sama. Traimaya. He is the Lord of the 3 Vedas. Religious scriptures, Dharmamaya. He is the Supreme Lord of all austerities, Tapomaya. He is worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, and all those above pretensions. Gatavyalika. He is revered with awe and veneration. Vitarkelinga. May that Supreme Lord be pleased with me. This is how he is glorifying. Pleased with me, so I can speak words of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the mood of the original Bhagavatam speaker. So we should understand as hearers and as speakers of Srimad Bhagavatam that we should follow in the footsteps of Shukadeva Goswami, carrying that mood of Shukadeva Goswami. He continues, may the Supreme Lord, who is the protector of prosperity, sacrifice, citizens, and the intelligent, planets, and earth. He is the protector and the goal to be attained for the Andakas, Vrishnis, and Yadavas. Beautiful prayer. Shriyapati. Shriya means prosperity. Shriyapati, Yagyapati, Lord of sacrifice. Prajapati, Lord of citizen. Pati means master. Shriyapati, the master of all prosperities. Yagyapati, master of all sacrifices. Bhoktaram, Yagya Tapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Bhokta is the supreme enjoyer. Yagya Tapasam, he is the supreme proprietor. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, supreme proprietor. Bhoktaram, Yagya Tapasam, he is the supreme friend. Shuhurdam Sarvabhutanam, he is the supreme friend. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam, he is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he is the proprietor of all the Sarvaloka, of all the planetary systems. Shuhurdam Sarvabhutanam, he is the friend of all living entities. Enjoyer, proprietor, friend. Chuhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. If one knows this, jnatva mam shantim richati. Jnatva mam, if one knows this about me, shantim richati, they will attain peace. So here, Shriyapati, Lord of all prosperities, Yagyapati, Lord of all sacrifices, Prajapati, Lord of all citizens, Dyampati, Lord of all intelligent. Krishna is the supreme intelligent. Lokapati, Lord of all the worlds. Dharapati, Dhara is earth, the Lord of Mother Earth. You will see, even if you had watched Mahavatar Narsinga, how initially when Varahadev comes, he goes and then he retrieves Mother Earth from the bottom of Garbhodaka ocean and then he puts her back in her position as Bhudevi. So he is Dara. Dara is Dharani Devi. So that is, or Daritri. There are different words that are used to glorify Bhuma Devi. Dara, Daritri, they all mean the goddess of earth. Patirgatis. Cha Andaka Vrishni Satvatam. So he is the goal of all the masters. He is the goal of his relatives. He is the shelter of all his relatives, which are Andakas, Vrishnis, and Satvatas. Satvatas are Yadavas. Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satampati. He is the ultimate refuge of all devotees. Such beautiful glorification. May that Supreme Lord, who gives liberation, who is purified or who is purifying everyone. How? Simply by meditating upon his lotus feet. So that Supreme Lord, may he be pleased with me. That Supreme Lord who gives liberation, who at once purifies anyone and everyone who meditates upon his lotus feet, who is the absolute truth, and who's been speculated differently by the jnanis according to their whims. May that Lord be pleased with me. May that Supreme Lord, who amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart, Tene Brahma Hridayadikavaya. That Supreme Lord who gave intelligence even to Lord Brahma, and who appeared to be generated from Brahma's lotus mouth. So what it means here is Krishna gave knowledge from within the heart of Lord Brahma, and then Brahma spoke out that. But externally, if you look, it looks as if, or it seems as if Brahma is the author of the Vedas, but actually no. The inspiration from to or within the heart of Lord Brahma was given by Krishna only, and that comes through the mouth of Lord Brahma as Vedas. So it looks like Brahma is the parent of the Lord, but actually Brahma is parented by the Lord. Brahma is Padmaja. That Padma came from the navel, lotus navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So he's saying, may that Supreme Lord, who appeared to have been born from the mouth of Lord Brahma, who gave knowledge to Lord Brahma from within his heart, may that Lord be pleased with me, so that I can speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says, may that Lord who enlivens material bodies by lying down in the universe as the Purusha, he causes the living entities to be subjected to 16 divisions of modes. May that Lord be pleased with me. And then he offers his respects to his Guru, which is Vyasadeva. My obeisances to Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva. Every Chaturvyuha, so to speak, or every Kalpa would have different Vyasadeva. Our current Vyasadeva is a position, one who divides the Vedas. Dvaipayana. Dvipa means island. Dvaipayana, because he was conceived on the water of Ganga between the islands or on an island, he is known as Dvaipayana. Krishna Dvaipayana is the name. Vyasadeva is a title. Different personalities may come, but our current Vyasadeva is a Shakti Avaisha avatar. He's a very special category. Not every Vyasadeva is like that. But Shukadeva Goswami knew about his father, that he is not ordinary personality. He is an Amsa of the Supreme Lord. So he's saying, my obeisances to Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. Devotees drink the nectar of Krishna's topics, dropping from the Lord's mouth. So in this way, he glorifies, offers his respects to the Supreme Lord. And we can see simply with our own limited intelligence, if Krishna hears all these prayers, how much pleased he'll be from such a pure devotee. So Krishna will empower Shukadeva Goswami to speak, and then Shukadeva Goswami will start with the process of creation. So he concludes, O Parikshit, I will answer your questions. These questions will be answered based on Brahma Narada Samvad. So in the past, Narada asked these questions to Brahma, and Brahma answered. Shukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit Maharaj, O Parikshit Maharaj, I'll answer all these questions by repeating that instructions Brahma gave to Narada to you. So this is the parampara system. We can see even Shukadeva Goswami follows the parampara in this way. We'll conclude there, and the next chapter we'll discuss about the different Shaktis and the process of creation. Next week, I won't be here. I have to go to Melbourne for National Council meetings, so we won't be having our weekly class next week, but we'll continue from the following week. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaved Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.